What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so before I get into this video, I want to give a big shout out to the brother Zach Hankins for the donation to the channel via the Cash App. Much respect to him for showing love to Too Raw for TV. And let's talk about this situation with Shedeur Sanders. Okay, now Shedeur Sanders, of course, is the son of NFL legend Deion Sanders. And of course, Shedeur Sanders was the star quarterback for the Colorado Buffaloes, of which his father was the head coach. And coming into this NFL draft, Shedeur Sanders was expected to be one of the top picks of this draft. That was pretty much what most people projected him to be. Some even thought that he might wind up being a top 5 pick. Unexpectedly, however, not only was he not a top 5 or top 10 pick, he wasn't even selected in the first round. That extended into the second round, where he wasn't picked, third and fourth rounds. It was only in the fifth round, as the 144th pick, was Shedeur Sanders selected by the Cleveland Browns. Okay, now a lot of people think that this is once again a show of the Good Old Boys Network, the NFL Plantation. This is, once again a situation where the league shows that, hey, if you talk too much, or, if you show that you have confidence and you're, a black man, they'll get back at you. Okay. And we already saw this with Colin Kaepernick. If you just happen to be a black man who is outspoken, the league, no matter how much they want to act like they have moved on from the Kaepernick era, they're the same league that they've always been. Okay. Now let me say this. These are my thoughts. Okay. To me, 50% of this is racism. That's just how I feel. And that's how I'm going to continue to feel on this situation. 50% of this is racism. A lot of this is payback on Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders was a very outspoken athlete when he played. Many announcers and commentators didn't like him. One of them in particular, what was his name? He's played for the Cardinals. He was a baseball commentator, passed away a couple years ago. I can't think of his name right now, but he had the incident where Deion Sanders, I think, poured water on him. I can't remember his name, but anyway, Deion Sanders was a great football player, a great athlete who knew he was great and was braggadocious and talked trash, and that rubs a lot of people the wrong way. People like to pretend like now they love Muhammad Ali. But when Muhammad Ali fought, I was talking basketball. When Muhammad Ali fought, he was very, very disliked. But what a lot of people didn't understand at the time was that Muhammad Ali was influenced by a wrestler named Gorgeous George, a very popular wrestler in the 1950s. Gorgeous George was a white man. But when Ali did it, he noticed that people reacted to it negatively for the most part, although some black people liked it. But it caused him to be recognized, right? But up until, I'd say, the late 70s, most of middle America couldn't stand Muhammad Ali. They rooted for him to lose. They rooted for him to get knocked out by Sonny Liston, who previously they couldn't stand. They rooted for him to get knocked out by, Joe Frazier. They wanted him to get knocked out by Mac Foster and all these other guys. So America has a long history of disliking the Muhammad Alis and the Jack Johnsons and preferring their black athletes to be quiet and humble and put your head down and comb your hair like Joe Louis. So a lot of this is indirectly a payback at a guy like Deion Sanders. And the perception that Shedeur Sanders himself is cocky and arrogant. Yeah, a lot of it is that. Some of this, however, and this is just my opinion, some of this is a little bit on Deion. Some of this comes from him saying in the past, I don't want my son to play with this team. I don't want my son to play with that team. If you're an organization, well, okay, those were your wishes, fine. We're not going to draft your son. Like I said, I think a little bit was that. You could argue a little bit of it could be his fault. A little bit of it is this too. Okay, and I don't follow the NFL, but I do notice certain trends, right? I noticed over the past 2 years, right? And we see this in the NBA. There's a growing impatience lurking throughout the sports world, okay? Coaches are being fired, even at times when you think they shouldn't be fired. For the first time in a long time, general managers are becoming household names again, and they're being held accountable, and they're being fired if they don't live up to expectations. They're expected to win right now. There are many general managers in the NFL who are running organizations that are expected to win right now. So you can make the argument that some of these franchises may feel a little bit apprehensive about drafting a young quarterback. Like I said, there are some cases you can make that argument. Case in point, the New York Giants, right? The New York Giants is a team that some people think is trying to win right now. Maybe, right? There's some other teams. But at the end of the day, the overwhelming majority of this, in my opinion, is a humiliation ritual. It's to put the Sanders family, Deion Sanders in particular, in his place. Also, you could argue that this is being done to hurt Deion Sanders' recruitment power. I heard Brother 78 speak on this. If Deion Sanders can't even get his own son high in the draft, and if other players affiliated with the Colorado Buffaloes are not going far into the draft or being drafted at all, ultimately, then that hurts his draw of being able to recruit great talent to his team. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, let's not forget when Deion Sanders took over from Colorado as the coach of Colorado, he was putting up monstrous numbers. his games. Remember those ratings? Those games were getting on ESPN like 10, 11, 12, 13 million views. You know, there are some people, they don't like that. They want to put somebody like that in their place, you know? So that's just my take on it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, a lot of this is racism. You can argue a little bit of it's Deion's fault for saying that I don't want my son going this team or that team or that team. And some of it, I think, is the pressure on the general managers to win at this moment, win right now. But anyway, That's just my take on this. What you guys think?